Hi there, it is Saturday evening, the 9th of November 2024, 6:42 p.m. from Toogoom, Queensland, Australia. I'm going to get straight to a letter written by King Abgar. He was the king of the Arabs. He lived at the time that Jesus did. This letter was written to him, to Jesus from Abgar, and then Jesus sent a response. After that, I'm going to read the letters that Abgar wrote to the Emperor Tiberius. Now, what is occurring throughout the world in the Middle East, being all of Mesopotamia area, Armenia in particular, which is where Abgar was, Edessa, is so important to comprehend, just as Muhammad wrote to the monks at St. Catherine's Monastery on Mount Sinai, and it clears up so much about where he was coming from and what he was instructing the followers of Islam to behave towards Christians. So this 5.5 centuries before his existence, the king of the Arabs wrote the following: Abgar, ruler of Edessa, to Jesus the good physician, who has appeared in the country of Jerusalem, greeting. I have heard the reports of you and of your cures performed by you without medicines or herbs. For it is said that you make the blind to see and the lame to walk, that you cleanse lepers and cast out impure spirits and demons, and that you heal those afflicted with lingering disease and raise the dead. And having heard all these things concerning you, I have concluded that one of two things must be true. Either you are God, and having come down from heaven, you do these things, or else you who does these things are the Son of God. I have therefore written to you to ask you if you would take the trouble to come to me and heal all the ill which I suffer. For I have heard that the Jews are murmuring against you and are plotting to injure you. But I have a very small yet noble city, which is great enough for us both. Jesus gave the answer as reply to the messenger, to Abgar. Blessed are you who have believed in me without having seen me. For it is written concerning me that they who have seen me will not believe in me, and that they who have not seen me will believe and be saved. But in regard to what you have written me, that I should come to you, it is necessary for me to fulfill all things here for which I have been sent, and after I have fulfilled them, thus to be taken up again to him that sent me. But after I have been taken up, I will send to you one of my disciples, that he may heal your disease and give life to you and to yours. The letters to Tiberius. I'm going straight through the article that you can look up yourself in Wikipedia. I can't leave the link in the description. YouTube has made it a lot more difficult to do that kind of thing. This is Abgar's letter to Tiberius. Abgar, king of Armenia, to my lord Tiberius, emperor of the Romans, greeting. I know that nothing is unknown to your majesty, but as your friend, I would make you better acquainted with the facts by writing. The Jews who dwell in the cantons of Palestine have crucified Jesus, Jesus without sin. Jesus, after so many acts of kindness, so many wonders and miracles wrought for their good, even to the raising of the dead. During the time that they were crucifying him, the sun was darkened, the earth was moved, shaken. Jesus himself 3 days afterwards rose from the dead and appeared to many. Now everywhere his name alone, invoked by his disciples, produces the greatest miracles. What has happened to myself is the most evident proof of it. Your august majesty knows henceforth what ought to be done in future with respect to the Jewish nation, which has committed this crime. Your Majesty knows whether a command should not be published throughout the whole universe to worship Christ as the true God. Safety and health. Tiberius's reply. Tiberius, Emperor of the Romans, to Abgar, King of the Armenians, greeting. Your kind letter has been read to me, and I wish that thanks should be given to you from me. Though we had already heard several persons relate these facts, Pilate has officially informed us of the miracles of Jesus. He has certified to us that after his resurrection from the dead, he was acknowledged by many to be God. Therefore I myself also wished to do what you propose. But as it is the custom of the Romans not to admit a God merely by the command of the sovereign, but only when the admission has been discussed and examined in full Senate, I proposed the affair to the Senate, and they rejected it with contempt, doubtless because it had not been considered by them first. But we have commanded all those whom Jesus suits to receive him among the gods. We have threatened with death anyone who shall speak evil of the Christians. As to the Jewish nation which has dared to crucify Jesus, who, as I hear, far from deserving the cross and death, was worthy of honour, worthy of the adoration of men. When I am free from the war with rebellious Spain, I will examine into the matter and will treat the Jews as they deserve. From the annals of history, contemporary to the time of Jesus. And yes, it was the Apostle Thaddeus and Bartholomew who went to Edessa, to King Abgar, and Abgar was healed, just as Jesus promised. Also, Armenia is where the spear of Longinus, whose actual name was Gaius Cassius, the one who pierced the side, and it was the left side under the heart, who pierced Jesus on the cross to demonstrate he was already dead. Therefore, there was no need to break his legs, which fulfilled two prophecies already spoken of in the scriptures about not a bone shall be broken. That spear tip, it is legend that it was taken with Thaddeus and Bartholomew into Armenia, and it was several centuries later, and I believe it began through the Crusades, where it was actually found buried in Armenia. And it was a monk, actually, who had a dream that it was in where the church had already been built, and it was underneath. And it took some convincing the bishop at the time to start digging there, but they did, and they just kept digging, and they found it. And it is still housed in the church at Echmiadzin, which is Miedzin, which is the cathedral that is part of what is called the Holy Mother See of the Armenian Apostolic Church. One of the oldest. It predates Christian Rome. 312 was the Emperor Constantine and his proclamation. The church itself was built and finished in 303 AD. It was a vision given to Gregory the Illuminator, who was shown the plan of the church. It was like a hologram of the church, and he had it built. He describes how the Lord himself came with a golden hammer to strike the ground where he wanted the church built, and that is the cathedral at Echmiadzin. Look it up, it's beautiful. Also, Yah has confirmed personally to me that the true location of the Garden of Eden is within Armenia. I can't leave the links again. As I said, I went to do that on previous, and they're not allowing it. I have to present ID, and it takes time to verify and all this kind of thing. But you can look it up yourself. Just start Google searching the true location of the Garden of Eden. There's a number of locations up for grabs, if you like, and different academics arguing this point and that point. But yes, Armenia, it makes so much sense. The king of the Arabs. As you know, we were in Egypt 2013. We had no problem being amongst them. They treated us really well with kindness and generosity. They were so blown away that we would go to them. And what we noticed though was the difference, because they are not, it's not within their understanding of Allah that He heals individually. And so they've been robbed of the expectation to be healed by God, because that does happen through the name of Jesus. So they have been kept in the dark, if you like. However, just as you heard that Pontius Pilate, we've taught that Pilate was a friend to Jesus. He washed his hands of the crucifixion. And you heard what he wrote to Tiberius, keeping him up to speed with the events of those days. These men, honourable men, noble men, you just get that sense from the soul of their writings. And that's where my heart just swells. So I wanted to make that known to you at this time. All that's been occurring throughout the Middle East, throughout America, and the elections, and what's going on in Israel. As you know, you can believe nothing that is reported about Israel by those who support Israel in the West, meaning the Western media. They repeat the lies that come straight out of Israel. I think of Pierre in Amsterdam just yesterday, I believe it was, a football match where the Maccabi Israeli team were allowed to play, much to the astonishment of the people. Mossad agents went in with them. They were the provocateurs who caused the rioting that was going on in Amsterdam, and then the local people rising up in defense of the Arab Muslim population, and in particular their cause for Gaza, which the Israelis were climbing and ripping flags down. It was a total, absolute, orchestrated show. It's what they do. So believe nothing about the reports of Israel making ground here. No, they're not. They're being defeated soundly. So the days ahead are going to be very interesting indeed. It is a separating of the wheat and the chaff, as we've been told. And what happens to chaff? It gets blown away with the wind. So be mindful to continue to live in love, joy, and laughter with those around you who are close to you. And the last admonition was to keep calm. So with that, I'll get this uploaded and see if we have success. All right. Until next time.